One of the most contentious and negative races this election has been for the Republican nomination for Attorney General.
3 people on the Republican ballot for that race, Attorney General. Incumbent Mike Hunter, Tulsa attorney Gentner Drummond, and Tulsa public defender Angela Bonilla. And here is how it's shaking out, with 83% of the precincts reporting the incumbent has a pretty healthy lead, 45% of the vote, but not enough to claim outright victory. Gentner Drummond with 38%, Angelina Bonilla, a Tulsa public defender, with 17%. So it does look like it is headed to a runoff election.
That's set for August 28th as well.
Yes, so there'll be a lot of races on the ballot.
A lot of runoffs.
Yes, at this rate. Well, Governor Fallin appointed Mike Hunter as Attorney General in 2017 to replace Scott Pruitt, who left the job to become the EPA administrator in the Trump administration.
News on 6's Megan Farley is with the Hunter campaign in Oklahoma City at the watch party there. Megan?
We are indeed, Terry and Craig. Things have been pretty lively here since the polls closed earlier, and these numbers started coming in with a pretty heavy lead here. Now we are getting ready to possibly hear from Mike Hunter, but I want to just step out of the way here, let you take a look at the room. Now, a lot of supporters here, a lot of people happy with that lead, but earlier Mr. Hunter was down here as the polls closed. He said he is most proud of his team since taking over for Scott Pruitt last February, all they've accomplished with regards to the opioid epidemic and holding pharmaceutical companies accountable. I also asked about the negative campaigning excuse me, between him and Gentner Drummond, and he said, I'm a lawyer. I'm making a case to a jury, and in this case the jury is the electorate, and the case to the jury is unpleasant, he said, but everything he's brought up regarding his opponent has been substantiated. So again, we are here with a pretty healthy lead. Winds up, but we are expecting to hear from the current Attorney General soon. So as soon as we do, we'll bring you the latest on that. Live on the scene on the story in Oklahoma City, Megan Farley, News on 6.
Well, as Megan mentioned, with those advertisements, it's really been a slugfest between Hunter and Tulsa attorney Gentner Drummond. It
certainly has been. News on 6's Emery Bryan is live with the Drummond campaign near downtown Tulsa. Emery?
Well, Terry and Craig, no one unhappy here with this finish tonight that puts Gentner Drummond into a runoff with a sitting incumbent Attorney General tonight. Drummond spoke with his supporters tonight just as soon as it was clear that voters had forced a runoff, which he said earlier today would not surprise him with the polling that he had seen. Of course, he had hoped to be in first place.
Oklahoma spoken, the incumbent, over 50% of Oklahoma says they don't want him. So my job, your job, is to help me take the balance of those who didn't vote for Mr. Hunter and move them over into my column in August, and we'll continue to move forward. What Oklahoma has asked for is transparency, openness, leadership. That's what we offer.
And Drummond said tonight that he is hoping that as this second phase of the campaign begins now, going into this runoff, that he does hope that he and the Attorney General, Mike Hunter, can focus more on the substantial issues facing Oklahoma that the Attorney General might be able to address. Reporting live on the scene on the story, downtown Tulsa, Emery Bryan, News on 6.
Still counting the votes and still closely following that Republican primary for governor, where just at some points a few hundred votes have separated the candidates in this one.
Yeah, let's take a look at the board right now. Mick Cornett, former Oklahoma City, 4-term Oklahoma City mayor, 29% of the vote. The big question tonight, look at those next 2 candidates. Wow. Todd Lamb, Lieutenant Governor Todd Lamb, 24% of the vote. Tulsa businessman Kevin Stitt, 24% of the vote. Now, not quite, what, 1,700 or so, 1,600, 1,700 votes separate those 2 candidates right there.
Yeah, so that is certainly a tight race. News on 6's Lori Fulbright is live in Oklahoma City with current Lieutenant Governor Todd Lamb's campaign. Lori?
Well, Terry, we have not seen the candidate yet. We are told he is here in the hotel. He's upstairs in a room with his family watching those numbers come in. It's not a huge crowd here, and they're a little bit subdued, but everybody is busy on their phones checking those results. A lot of people surprised at just how tight this race is. We did catch up with the Lieutenant Governor earlier today to ask him how he feels the campaign is going, and this is what he had to say.
This has been several months in the making. We've been working very hard on this campaign. We've got a detailed plan for Oklahoma. We've had large crowds at all our events in the recent days, and we're going to be with family tonight, friends and supporters from all across Oklahoma, and we're excited, very excited.
So again, probably a little closer than anticipated here at this watch party. Of course, once the numbers are a little bit more decisive, we anticipate hearing from Todd Lamb. As soon as that happens, of course, we will let you know. Craig and Terry?
Right, thank you, Lori. And we have what could be some bad news for Todd Lamb supporters. We're just told almost 100 precincts are still out in Tulsa County, where Stitt, of course, is very strong. So that could make a difference in such a tight race.
Yeah, obviously the Tulsa businessman Kevin Stitt doing very, very well for being a political newcomer, and that could be a deciding factor we have yet to see. News on 6's Ashley Isbicki is live with the Stitt campaign tonight. Ashley?
Yeah, Craig and Terry, everyone was cheering when those results came on the board. You can see it is neck to neck. They're actually watching our programming here as we continue to update the results as more results are coming in. We did catch up with Kevin before he left. He is now kind of waiting with his family, watching the results in a more private setting. He'll be back here in a little bit, but he admitted that, you know, he does have some butterflies, but he's just kind of, quote, trying to get them to fly in formation. I asked him if there have been any surprises along the campaign trail, and he said, you know, not really, just that the biggest surprise is that we're #1 in incarceration rates and we're number 45 in education outcomes. So he's hoping to use his business expertise to change that, to balance the budget. $22 billion on the line for the next governor. That is a big task, but he is confident he can do it. Listen to this.
We're not the career politician, so we had to make up a bunch of ground with name ID, but we outworked everybody. We went to all 77 counties. We've got tremendous support all over, and we believe we're going to win this thing tonight.
So I'm here at Gateway Mortgage in Jinx. He started this company back in 2000 with just $1,000 while his wife was pregnant. So that was a big risk, and obviously it paid off. So he's hoping that voters take a risk on him in terms of lack of political experience and know that his success in this company can be the success for the state of Oklahoma. Live on the scene, on the story in Jinx, Ashley Isbicki, News on 6.
All right, Ashley, thank you very much. We understand that Attorney General incumbent Mike Hunter is addressing his supporters, so let's go live to his watch party in Oklahoma City to listen in to him tonight.
Are we ready? Are we ready? Everybody in the back okay? Well, nothing worthwhile is ever easy. And the last 10 weeks have not been easy, but testimony to the toughness and the resilience and frankly the courage of all of you here today. We are in really good shape going into what looks like will be a runoff. So, many of you probably have seen Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. So there's the great speech towards the end of the movie where James Stewart, who plays Mr. Smith, is talking about lost causes. And that lost causes are, in many ways, the only causes worth fighting for. And he reflects on one simple rule that motivates people who are committed to lost causes. And that simple rule is love thy neighbor. And I want to say to all of you, I cannot thank you enough for all that you've done to get us where we are today, which is having somebody show up the week of filing and dump $1.4 million of their own money into the race and attempt to buy it. Well, let me tell you, this office is not for sale. Amen. Amen. So my wife Cheryl, who I will not introduce as my wife of X years because last time I did that, she said that she would hit me over the head with a shoe. Suffice to say, she is my past, present, and future wife. On my left is my son Barrett and his wife Rachel. You know, I used to be the second best lawyer in my family, and Barrett, who's entered the legal profession, has now put me in third place. But
there you see incumbent Attorney General Mike Hunter addressing his supporters at his watch party in Oklahoma City, you know, talking a little bit about what's coming up next as far as a runoff in that race.
It's already been so bitter, and we have a couple more months of that race to go through yet. Oklahoma City Mayor, former Oklahoma City Mayor Mick Cornett has been leading the pack tonight in the Republican field for governor. He served 4 terms as mayor in Oklahoma City from 2004 to 2018.
News on 6's Brian Dorman is live at his watch party at the Tower Theater in Oklahoma City. Brian, give us the latest.
Oh, a sigh of relief in this room and a lot of cheering in the last 15 minutes as these numbers continue to come in. And as people talk about what a runoff election will look like come August and trying to wrap their head around that tonight, I am told, and we are just learning, that Mick Cornett will speak to his supporters here at 10:05. So we'll carry that live as soon as he does at 10:05. One concern, of course, moving forward into August is how well known is this guy outside of Oklahoma City? Of course, very well known here, 20-year career in TV broadcasting. He was a successful mayor for 14 years, 4 terms as mayor here. And I talked with voters today in Tulsa that are here tonight that say, you know what he did in Oklahoma City, we need to see that growth across the state. Listen.
To me, with Mick as a Tulsan, I would go to Oklahoma City and see everything that was happening through the MAPS program, all the development, all the jobs, and thought, I want that for Tulsa and I want that for the state.
And I've heard from several supporters here tonight saying they really like what he did for Oklahoma City, even during really tough times. And with the resurgence that we're seeing back home in Tulsa, they really feel like he is the right person to lead the way for these 2 big cities in the state and the state in general. Live on the scene, on the story in Oklahoma City, Brian Dorman, News on 6.
Tulsa attorney and former U.S. Attorney Gary Richardson also ran in that crowded Republican primary.
News on 6's Aaron Conrad is live with more. Aaron?
What are you going to do now?
Well, Craig and Terry, you can see behind me the room is pretty much empty here. Gary Richardson gave his concession speech just a few minutes ago. Of course, he's been down in the polls all evening, so about 8:45 he gave his concession speech. He says that because he's an outsider and didn't take any special interest money, that he was outspent during the campaign, but says he would not compromise his values. Now, during his speech, at the very end, he did not throw his support behind any particular candidate. In fact, he said that there is one candidate that he emphatically does not support.
Where I was to say I respect all the candidates, I said I will not say that. There's one I have no respect for. Anybody know who that is?
And it's very apparent Richardson supporters will not be backing Kevin Stitt if he gets that nomination. A lot of those folks say they are now heading over to the Republican Watch primary watch that is at the Schusterman Center. So kind of a defeatist attitude here, but a lot of these people say that they're doing all right, and Richardson says he's got his faith in his family and he'll sleep all right tonight. Live on the scene, on the story in Tulsa, Aaron Conrad, News on 6.
All right, so now let's take a quick look at the Democratic primary results for governor, where Drew Edmondson faced off against Connie Johnson.
This one was not close. Edmondson was the clear favorite and came out strong. He picked up 62% of the vote to Connie Johnson's 38%.
And News on 6 sent out a push alert the moment Drew Edmondson won the Democratic nomination.
He just spoke to his supporters and wanted to give a special shout out to the teachers who stood beside him during the race.
And I especially want to thank the teachers who are up here on the stage with me. When I came back from Vietnam to Muskogee, the first real job I had was teaching school. I've been in the classroom. I was proud to walk with them when they came to the Capitol talking about doing something right for education, and I'm proud that they're walking with me here tonight. To the Democratic Party, I am proud to accept your nomination to be the governor of the state of Oklahoma.
Edmondson also thanked his challenger, Connie Johnson, saying that she never went negative during the campaign, and he says they are united going forward.
Well, stay with us. We have much more election results from across the state of Oklahoma coming up in just a moment.
As we go to a break, here's a look at the results from contests across the state.